The Alberta Council of Technologies presents feature keynote Bilal Khan of Capgemini, May 13th at 7:15. Watch live at bestofanalytics.com. Bilal has over 12 years of extensive experience in the architecture and delivery of programs involving big data, business intelligence, and predictive analytics, ranging from pre-sales activities, project architecture, solution design, to project delivery, as well as key functional and technical SME roles. His business transformational experience in the North American market ranges from the delivery of a $7.8 million program to involvement in programs exceeding $68 million Canadian. Bilal has successfully managed and delivered projects in both private and public sector, including business acquisitions, transformations, SAP Greenfield implementation, systems integration, single instance consolidation, SAP upgrades, master data migration and conversion, web projects, analytics, business intelligence reporting, identity management, strategy and middleware implementations. These projects have been delivered through various combinations of direct reports, third-party vendors, and contractors in Canada, the USA, India, China, and the Philippines. Bilal also brings extensive SAP thought leadership in the areas of SAP Business Analytics with emphasis on master data management, HANA, financial budgeting, planning and consolidation, as well as business objects reporting. These capabilities have been represented at SAP Tech Ed, the SAP HANA Run Better Conference, and as an IBM guest speaker through SAP Code Excellence IBM.
Welcome back. I'm Benjamin Ryder with Cooperative Communications. We are at Analytics, Big Data in the Cloud 2, and I'm speaking with Bilal Khan of Capgemini Consulting. So can you talk to me a little bit about your role within Capgemini Consulting?
Excellent. Thank you for having me, Benjamin. My role at Capgemini basically entails leading delivery organizations. So we run projects and consulting from organizational transformation projects to ERP projects, and projects in business analytics as well. So my specialty is specifically in the oil and gas business, dealing with upstream, midstream, and downstream as well. So spending a lot of time, doing the whole blueprinting cycle, the realization phases, and the entire delivery of these large-scale projects.
And so you were one of the featured keynotes yesterday. Can you talk about what you were presenting? Human intelligence?
Yes. The topic of the keynote's discussion last night was that of the evolution of human intelligence and how that applies to big data and predictive analytics. When we look specifically at the subject of big data, these days it's a buzzword. I mean, it's out there in the magazines. You have all kinds of C-level executives that refer to it, but what is really missing from that context is what is big data and how is it applicable in the business context? So a lot of what we did yesterday was we actually talked about the architecture that entails big data, and not strictly speaking from a technical perspective, but the model in itself talked about the multiple sources of information out there, how we can get structured and unstructured as well as semi-structured data, how we bundle all of that together, and that really constitutes the concept of big data, how to be able to get all the historical facts using in-memory computing algorithms, and to be able to predict future outlooks. And if we talk about how some of that applies to the industry in Alberta, for example, some of the major industries in Alberta, as registered with the federal and provincial governments, oil and gas, obviously, the energy sector, as we all know. In addition to that, agriculture is a huge one, forestry as well, and manufacturing. So big data really talks about being able to use all your collective facts that you're able to gather from multiple sources, storyboard that, and being able to predict future outcomes. And these future outcomes could be something as implicit as a yes or no. For example, is it worth it for an upstream company to drill in an oil patch in a certain location? In terms of continual processes, it also touches on, are we going to be financially successful if we drill at this time of the year or at a certain time? Because a lot of it does depend on how the market's doing with regards to reflecting the price of heavy crude by the barrel. Right?
So how accurate is this? I mean, because you're taking all this data, right? And the data, it's just facts.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you're actually having answers based on facts.
That's right.
Right? Is there an error?
Absolutely. There's always a statistical margin of error, and what we talked about yesterday were some of the challenges facing big data. So what you're touching on here, Benjamin, is that not all big data is good data. With big data comes a responsibility of making sure that we have the right type of data. There has to be a correlation between the facts, right? And this is what we mean by the algorithms. The algorithms have to help us decide what is the right type of data in order for us to make that decision that we need about the future. So you're absolutely right. There's always a statistical margin of error.
Okay, great. Can you talk about some of the projects? I mean, you were talking
Yeah.
about the Trans-Canada Highway, I believe.
Actually, one of the projects I'm doing right now with Capgemini is working at Trans-Canada.
Okay.
So Trans-Canada is a midstream company.
Okay.
Midstream companies are really involved in the transportation of
Okay.
energy products like gas, light crude, heavy crude oil as well. But really a lot of the projects that I've done in the business analytics space, they cover master data management, business intelligence, business warehousing, and a lot of that involves heavy-duty solutions architecture, a lot of specialties in business objects as well, and predictive analytics. And predictive analytics, we've used tools like advanced analysis. We've also used tools like business optimization planning and financial planning consolidation.
Cool. Well, we're going to go to break here in a second.
Join the conversation next year as more cities become data-driven. Become a community partner. Contact us at info@abctech.ca.